Hi, it's Snorgle. Welcome back to A Mortician's Tale. A university graduate gets her first job as director of a funeral home. What would he use to respectfully manage his family-owned business? Puzzle solving and lateral thinking. Of course! Let's keep going. So last time we attended Mr. Garcia's funeral. An elderly man who died of old age. Let's, as we do first thing in the morning, check our email. From Rose. Rose is the owner and our boss. Hello, Charlie. Today's funeral is for a woman who died from breast cancer. Nothing fancy, just standard cremation. Please don't hesitate to ask me if you have any questions. Amy Rose, funeral founder and director. Okay, let's see. What's this? Can we scroll down? No, that's fine. Okay. From Amy Rose to Rose and daughter's staff. Passing on this lovely note. From Lizzie Duvall. Thank you for the wonderful evening you and your staff put together for my father's funeral. He wasn't an easy man to get along with, but I'm glad to have seen him off in such a kind way. Thank you, Lizzie. That's nice. That's really nice. Let's see. What do we have? Oh, from our friend Jen. Charlie, I was doing some reading. I know you hate when I try to give you dating advice, but hear me out. There's this dating site that's specifically for people working in the death industry. Okay, so maybe I'm a little worried about you. You haven't mentioned anybody new since the breakup of 2014, and we will never speak of that again after this moment. You gotta love friends. But you're always saying how tired you get of people being scared to ask you about your day. So maybe meeting somebody in industry isn't the worst idea? Just promise me you'll consider it, okay? It's harder for me to make sure you're seeing sunlight when I'm all the way across the ocean. I know you look like a babe with pale skin and witchy gothic aesthetics are super hot right now, but vitamin D is still a good thing. Mom ran over. I'm going to try it out because it turns out people get super scared off when you tell them you work in a museum filled with dead bodies. Do you know how not interesting other people find teratomas? I don't know what that word means. Charlie, I didn't even know we were this weird to outside people. I've been spoiled by having a best friend who's as much of a weirdo as I am. Boy, I know that one. Miss you. Let's grab a bottle of wine for our next Skype date. P.S. If you sign up for dead meat, Isn't that the best name for a death industry website? It genuinely is. Tinder rules apply. You have to like me to come across my profile or whatever. Not sure how it works yet, though. Matthew Jeffrey, Charlie. I don't like the look of this, not one bit. I know you've only been with us for a few months, but maybe you're aware of trouble Amy's having. Small mom pop shops like this, like Rose and Daughters, can't compete with the bigger guys. Anyway, don't tell Amy I sent this to you. Also, I'm starving, so I'm going to grab some fast food before taking the hearse to the car wash. 2 birds, 1 stone, and then swinging back to the home. Do you want anything? A beef and cheddar? I'm going to take the hearse out through the drive. Of course, it freaks people out, and I love it. They get so awkward. Let me know. I'm heading out in 15 minutes. Let's see, and that's a reply to you, Matthew. This is embarrassing, but it seems I miscalculated some of our income and don't have enough to pay you this week. That's not good. Would it be terribly inconvenient if I cut you a check for next week? If you need the money urgently, please let me know. I feel terrible about this whole thing, and I can cut you a check from my personal account if need be. I'm so sorry about this. I assure you it won't happen again. That's not good. Let's see. LGBT funerals. Oh, this is interesting. If you've been a long-time subscriber to our emails, this is from Funerals Monthly, or follow us on social media, you have no doubt you heard about misgendering that transgender people are at times subject to during their funerals. There have been notable situations where trans women have had their wishes overruled by their families and have to have their hair cut and buried under the wrong names, subject to the wrong pronouns in their obituary announcements. We care a lot about this because we believe in treating every person with the same level of compassion, respect, and care, and this absolutely extends to pronouns and respecting the deceased's wishes as per their lived experiences. The CDC's I didn't know CDC had a funeral director's handbook, huh? The CDC Funeral Director's Handbook on Death Registration and Fetal Death Reporting offers the fraught directive, either male or female based on observation. Do not abbreviate or use other symbols. If sex cannot be determined after verification with medical records, inspection of the body or other sources, enter unknown. Do not leave this item blank. Leaving it up to observation obviously enters into a world of issues since bodies can be so different, and because of ingrained biases, people can draw incorrect assumptions based on their own inaccurate observations. California has passed a law known as the Respect After Death Act. I actually did know that, which states that the death certificate must reflect the deceased's gender identity as they lived it. So a step in the right direction. People who are trans deserve the same respect in death that people who are cisgendered receive. Misgendering in death takes away this respect. It can also inflict trauma on spouses and friends that survive the disease. That was what I was thinking in particular. I'd be more concerned about upsetting family members. So what can we do as funeral directors? Listen to the people who come into your office. In America especially, some marriages may not be recognized as legal depending on the laws around the same-sex marriage. Well, that's not true anymore. This doesn't matter if you're not dealing with two people who have loved each other the same way or another couple. Listen, learn, always be respectful. How old is this game? 2017? Yeah, that's not correct information, but maybe they worked on it longer than that. I don't know. While you have to work with the next of kin, your duty is to also ensure the deceased receives the utmost respect in their burial. If a funeral is to honor the deceased, then do that. Honor them. I always feel like funerals are more for the living, not for the dead. You know? Okay, here we go. Do they put people in like a, do they cremate people in caskets? I never really thought about it. Okay, before we cremate Miss Hall, we need to prepare her body. Mrs. Hall's family bought clothing and jewelry for her to wear, but it's important to remove these before the cremation process as not to damage them. Let's start by removing Mrs. Hall's necklace. Okay, where do I put it? Just set it down here? Where do I, click and drag the necklace placed on a purple tray. Okay. We will need to identify Mrs. Hall's remains after she's been cremated. Click and drag the right identification tag and place it in the offering. I wonder what's it made out of. Huh. Great. Mrs. Hall's all set to be cremated now. Okay. I guess press the button. Oh my gosh. Okay. Urn? I guess. This is a cremulator. Contrary to popular belief, cremation doesn't turn bodies into ash so much as bone and fragments. Using the cremulator, we break these bone fragments down into ash-like remains. I had no idea. Huh. Let's start by placing the urn in the cremulator. Okay? Click and drag the bone fragments and drop them into the top of the cremulator. Okay? I had absolutely no idea. That's interesting. I mean, the only experience I have with that is when we had to get our kitty put down. Now that all the bones have been processed, click and drag the urn back into the counter. Have they been processed? Okay, well. Make sure to put Mrs. Hall's necklace into the urn. Okay. Drop. How do I? Okay. Don't forget the tag. Click on the round identification tag and drag it to the urn. Put the top on. Okay. All done. Amy will take the urn to the funeral parlor and present it alongside some flowers. Are they going to have a little yeah, they are. They're going to have a little thing. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. That's really respectful. I like that. She would hate this music. She never wanted her funeral to be so sad. She would want us to be smiling. She said so. She fought really hard. She was proud of herself. She never gave up, not once. These conversations are really interesting. I'm glad she was cremated and not like in an open casket or something. See her like that? I don't know if I could have. At least we all got to say goodbyes. She would have liked that. This is nice in a weird way. She's like that we're all here talking. Oh, she'd like that we're all here talking. She's always tried to keep the family together. This food is delicious. I know that's weird, but these crab cakes are perfect. Oh, man. Good crab cakes are hard to beat. Nice. You can get a little more done. February 14th. Hey, Valentine's Day. 10:14 a.m. Let's check our email. News from the future about the future of Rose and Daughter's Funeral Home. Hi all. It's with a very heavy heart that I write to let you know that Rose and Daughters will no longer be in business. What? I had no idea how to start this email, and resources I Googled told me that would be the best, easiest way to break the ice. Be direct, but remorseful, Google said. The truth is, I really don't know what to say. Since my father passed away, I've done my best to make Rose and Daughters warm and friendly to anyone who chose to use our services. It was my memorial to him, the original Rose in a lot of ways. And you've all become like a family, including you, Charlie, our most recent addition. but it's getting harder to make ends meet. Rent is going up in the neighborhood, and I'm finding less and less like I have the energy for this business. There's a lot of competition from other funeral homes, larger corporations that can take on more business, offer more impressive services. You know the way it goes. So we've been bought, or I sold. Okay, that makes sense. Either way, Hillside Heritage Enterprises Inc., great. This is not going to go well. A company that owns many funeral homes in the city and across the country will replace Rose and Daughters starting from the beginning of next month. Same building, same time. They're keeping the name Rose and Daughters Funeral Home for tax purposes. Though honestly, I'm trying hard not to see that as a move on their part to keep the image as a family-run business. I don't know how I feel about that, but I also don't know if there's anything I can do at this point either. I've signed the papers. At least my father's legacy is still intact. Somewhat. They have a good reputation and agreed to keep you all on. That was one of my stipulations. I would sell as long as you all weren't without a job. Sorry I didn't tell you in a more personal way. I would have loved to have a company lunch, but I didn't have the heart to tell you in person. This was easiest for me. Please understand. Forward to Charlie. Thank you so much. Charlie, I thought you'd like to see this thank you note. This is from Margarita Hall. I'm so eternally grateful that you were able to accommodate our request for my sister's funeral. It was a beautiful service. She would have been very happy with it. That's a weird thing to say, isn't it? Anyway, thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Sincerely, Margarita. From Amy to Charlie. I thought to forward this to you. In a situation like this, we typically connect people like Ryan with a grief counselor or other professionals who can help him. Sometimes we get emails like this when people don't know where else to turn. It's difficult, and family isn't always the most reliable for some people. Boy, I understand that. Usually I would be happy to connect him, but feeling a little tired today. Not my usual self, and it would be good for you to start building these kind of relationships on your own. Your treasure, Charlie. Let's see, what does he say? This is from Ryan Garcia. Oh, this must be maybe a niece or a nephew of Mrs. Garcia. Hi, Amy. I know this may be a bit odd, but you said if I was ever having troubles, I should reach out, and you would know somebody I could talk to about this. I don't know what to do now. I know my grandfather had lived a full, good life and was very happy, and that she's not in pain now, but still, I feel empty. Amy, I've never felt this empty before. What am I supposed to do? I thought I was stronger than this. Can you refer to me to someone to talk to? I don't want to freak out my mom right now. She's dealing with enough with work and the will and trying to just be the best mom she can. I need somebody to tell me they'll all be okay. Thank you, and I'm sorry for being an inconvenience. Oh, don't. Charlie, I've been playing a new game when things are slow at work. It's called Tales from the Crypt Sweeper. Get it? Get it? It's like Minesweeper, but way harder. Like seriously, it's really, really difficult. And I thought my Minesweeper game was on point after working that overnight front desk job in a hotel for 3 years. I must have gotten rusty. Anyway, instead of mines, you want to grab graves so you don't disturb the adorable ghosts. The main character always kind of looks like you. Want to start a healthy competition? High Shore gets to pick the restaurant we go to when one of us gets to the town next. Sure. That's from Funerals Monthly. You've lived your life mindful of environment, doing your part to reduce pollution, and generally help out where you can. So why not continue doing it in death? At least that's what the thinking is for a lot of people returning to green or natural burials. I mean, if you just, well, I'll go into this in a bit. Natural ceremonies are becoming more popular and are focused on a few rules. Mainly that the bodies aren't allowed to be embalmed with chemicals. I agree with that. They can damage the environment for whatever reasons. And bodies must be buried in a biodegradable shroud or casket. Not only is this better for the environment, it's also cheaper. Union Cemetery in Ontario, Canada is a natural burial just over $1,000. So better for the people, the environment, maybe not so good for big business. Let's not forget, people, this is a business after all. But really, why go green? Green burials help preserve natural resources, work to reduce carbon emissions, protect health of these preparing bodies, and restore or preserve natural habitats. Embalming fluids tend to contain formaldehyde, and funeral directors report high instances of leukemia. Holy crap! I wonder if that's true. Going green and not using toxic chemicals for embalming helps protect funeral directors while at the same time lessening the impact we have on the environment after we're gone. While we're here at Funerals Monthly, think green burials are pretty cool. What do you think? Respond and let us know. You know, it's funny, I have talked to Mrs. Snorgle and told her that when I pass, just dig a hole and shove me in the ground. Like, don't spend any money on it. It's not worth it. Sounds good. I'll take care of it. I think that's a pretty good place to end this video. Thank you so much for watching this playthrough of A Mortician's Tale. So, we're learning about this. It's interesting. I feel like the Funerals Monthly newsletter is a little heavy-handed in the writing. I feel like if they were a little more subtle, it would be a little better, but that's okay. I mean, this is a tiny little studio out of Canada. It's an interesting. I think this is a really interesting game, and it really makes you think about it. I think I mentioned this before. I've had a couple people in my immediate family pass long before there was their time, and it's very difficult to deal with. It's a topic I'm actually quite familiar with. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time for more on Mortician's Tale. See you next time.